Okay, today we're going to look at subtracting mixed numbers and subtracting mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Sometimes when we subtract mixed numbers with unlike denominators or subtracting mixed numbers in general, we might have to rename or borrow from the whole number so that we can subtract. So our steps are going to be the same as if we add mixed numbers, okay? But we might have to rename or borrow in order to be able to do that. So it says here, find equivalent fractions with a common denominator. Here, for 3 1/4 minus 1 1/2, the common denominator they found is a 4. So if we turn 1/4, if we take a look here, if we turn 1/4, it says it can't, or 2/4 can't be subtracted from 1/4, okay? Because the 1/2 would be 2/4. So since we can't subtract 3 1/4 minus 1 2/4, it says we need to borrow, which is like regrouping, okay? But in order to borrow, we need to borrow one whole from the 3 wholes that we have. So we have 3 whole pieces and another 4th. We're going to borrow 1, make the 3 a 2, turn that 1 we borrowed into 4/4, because 4/4 is really equal to 1 whole, right? So we're taking that 1 that we borrowed and we're going to turn it into 4/4. Now we're going to say 1/4 plus 4/4 is 5/4. So we have 2 5/4, which is the same as 3 1/4. And then we can subtract. So we can take 2 5/4 minus 1 2/4 and get 1 3/4. Okay, that's how we borrow for a mixed number. Okay, let's try a couple of these. But in order to know if we need to borrow, we have to find that common denominator. Okay, we have to find the common denominator. So let's take a look here at 12 4/5 minus 8 3/4. If we look at this, 12 4/5 minus 8 3/4, I can still use my butterfly method here, okay? The borrowing might just be looking a little different. So if I have 4/5 and I'm going to take away 3/4, I can still cross multiply. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 5 is 15. I can subtract that. 16 take away 15 is 1. I multiply my denominator. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay? I still get 1/20. Don't forget, we subtract here. We're not adding because these are subtraction problems, so we have to subtract. That means my fraction is 1/20. 12 take away 8 is 4. So now I have 4 and 1/20. Using the butterfly method is going to prevent you from having to borrow when you find those equivalent fractions. We might still have to borrow with our whole numbers, okay? And we'll see problems like that in a little bit. But using the butterfly method for subtraction is going to prevent us from having to borrow too soon, okay? Or regroup our fraction too soon. Let's take a look at the next one. 10 3/5 minus 4 1/8. Again, same principle as we were doing with subtraction for our fraction. Start with your fraction, cross multiply. 3 times 8 is 24. 5 times 1 is 5. Take 24 minus 5. 24 minus 5 is 19. Multiply your denominator. 5 times 8. We get 40. So now I have 19/40. 19 I know is a prime number, so the only factors it has are 1 and 19, and a 19 doesn't go into a 40. So that's simplified, okay? So I have 19/40 is my simplest form of 3/5 minus 1/8. Then I take 10 minus 4 and I get 6. And that is my answer, 6 19/40. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. 12 and 11 twelfths minus 3 and 3/4. So we take 11 twelfths minus 3/4, cross multiply. You might need your multiplication chart. Sometimes these facts get big. 11 times 4 is 44. 12 times 3 is 36. 44, take away 36. If you're not sure, stack it, right? 44, take away 36. We don't want to make a mistake. We regroup and we get 8, okay? So we have 8, and then we multiply 12 times 4. 12 times 4 is 48. Okay, now I can simplify. What can I divide 8/48 by? Well, they both can be divided by an 8. And I get 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 48 divided by 8 is 6. So 11 twelfths minus 3/4, I get 1/6. Then 12 minus 3, I get 9. So 9 and 1/6 is my answer. Okay. Let's take a look at the next page, because now we have more subtraction with mixed numbers. But if we see a whole number all by itself, here we need to borrow a whole pie or a whole sandwich, okay, to be able to subtract. So here they have 5 minus 2 and an eighth. Well, in order to do this, I need to rename my 5. And I need to make the 5 into a 4 and put the 8/8, because 8 is my denominator. 8/8 makes that whole. So I'm going to split the 5 into 4 and 8/8. 4 and 8/8 is equivalent to 5, but in order to subtract, I have to have that represented in a fraction form. So 5 is 4 and 8/8. Minus 2 and an eighth. Now I have a common denominator. So 8/8 minus 1/8 is 7/8, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So when I have a whole number, I just need to turn one number of that whole number into a fraction. Let's take a look at number 1 here. 21 minus 10 and 2/3. So my denominator is 3. That means when I regroup from 21, I'm going to make it a 20. And I'm going to turn my whole number 1, my 1 that I regrouped, into 3/3. Now I have 20 and 3/3 minus 10 and 2/3. 3/3 minus 2/3 is 1/3. 20 minus 10 is 10. And my answer is 10 and 1/3. Okay, because if I added 10 and 1/3 plus 10 and 2/3, I would get 21 altogether. Let's look at the next one. 27 minus 14 and an eighth. Well, 27, I'm going to turn into 26. And I'm going to put the whole number that I regrouped into 8/8. Okay, 8/8 is the one whole that I took off. So one whole plus the 26 is 27. Okay, then I'm going to subtract my 14 and 1/8. 8/8 minus 1/8 is 7/8. Right, keep my denominator. Subtract my numerators. 26 minus 14, 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. I get 12 and 7/8. Let's look at number 3. 41 minus 31 and 3/5. Well, 41, I'm going to rename and make 40 and 5/5 because I want my denominator to be the 5. Okay, so I need how many fifths give me that whole? 40 and 5/5 minus 31 and 3/5. Okay, 5/5 minus 3/5, I'm going to get 2/5. Then I'm going to subtract, right? Regroup. 40 take away 31, I regroup. 10 take away 1 is 9, and I get 9 and 2/5. Okay, let's try another one. 32 minus 15 and 5/9. Again, I'm going to regroup my 32, rename it into 31, and my denominator here that I'm working with is 9, so 31 and 9/9. Whatever the denominator is what I'm going to turn my whole number fraction into. Then I have the like denominators to be able to subtract. I take away 15 and 5/9, subtract my fraction first. 9/9 minus 5/9 is 4/9. 31, take away 15. I'm going to regroup. 3 becomes a 2. The 1 becomes an 11. 11 take away 5 is 6. 2 take away 1 is 1. 16 and 4/9. 8 take away 6 and 2/5. 8 I'm going to turn into 7. I need a denominator of 5, so 7 and 5/5. I'm going to take off 6 and 2/5. So 5/5 take away 2/5, I'm going to get 3/5. 7 take away 6, I'm going to get 1. Okay. One more. 15 take away 9 and 3/9. 15 I'm going to turn into a 14, take that 1 away, make my denominator a 9, so I have 9/9. 14 and 9/9 is the same as 15. I'm going to take away 9 and 3/9. So 9/9 minus 3/9, I'm going to get 6/9. 14 take away 9, I'm going to get 5. In this case, though, look here, 6/9, can I simplify it? I can divide both the 6 and the 9 by a 3, and I'm going to get 2/3. So this is really 5 and 2/3 as my answer, simplified. Okay. What I'd like you to do today is I want you to try 2 problems for me. Okay. I want you to try, let's see here. Try number 5 and on page 26. So do page 26, number 5, and page 27, number 7. Okay, try those 2 problems for me. On lined paper, so grab lined paper, okay, do those 2 problems and then turn it in. On lined paper, do page 26, number 5, and 27, number 7.